Track 1. Guide. Change is an inevitable part of life. However, progress is not. True change encompasses progress in its purest form. That means acceptance of shortcomings, acceptance of flaws, acceptance of movement toward goals and objectives, embracing the successes, and acknowledging the pathway forward. Change was first felt for me when I moved from the suburbs of Atlanta to the inner city of Chicago. I experienced not only the new people, but also the new things that people did in their positions. It was a whole new culture with new traditions that encompassed a totally different new way of life. Books were no longer cool. Doing homework was no longer accepted pathway to prominence. Rather, the demonstration of perceived bravery and display of muscle reigned supreme. I quickly identified the patterns of behavior, rhythm of emotion, and flow of activities that led to a traumatic crossroad to isolation or assimilation. I chose the latter, and in less than 5 years faced the rest of my life in prison. Realizing I made the wrong decision, I quickly reverted back to the ways before assimilation to the neighborhood activities. I got a full tuition scholarship to college and graduate school, then spent the next years leading program development, design, and public policy for some of the nation's leading institutions. Now at 34, I've experienced with similar dilemma when it comes to advancing public safety in the United States of America. Groups have formed, traditions established, and cultures manifested around the issue. Police, law enforcement, courts, etc., all but own the phrase. Many established social justice organizations shy away from the term and have become dismayed by the idea of touching it. But I know it's important to reduce the role of traditional caretakers of public safety and pave a way for a new generation of public safety to take hold. So instead of assimilation, I chose to enter the private sector this time around. I built a new company, built a new curriculum, built public safety content that centers the development of health, truth, justice, and enterprise amongst people most impacted by it. I use music, poetry, books, videos, games, partnerships, and events to lead the way by which we transform public safety in America. I built DeAngelo's change to reflect the change that rooted in cognitive behavioral therapy and that asserts people as structures in their own rights. Chicago, DeAngelo's change, Atlanta, other places like LA have influenced a large part of the culture and approach to public safety that we experience at DeAngelo's change. So the moral of the story is, although change is inevitable, it requires taking old beliefs, behaviors, and patterns. It requires challenging the status quo and standing firm on what you truly believe in and not necessarily what you've been led to believe. It means working against the odds, ignorance, and indifference to chart a new course rooted in your purest thoughts, sincere aspirations, and established options.
So what stops us? Cash money. That's what everyone needs. So what do? We up and up and up inflation. And then we can't send it back down because we already had that money to spend. So I say burn all your money on us.